Welcome back to Casual Retro Gamer. Recently, I picked up a big bag of retro goodies for only £40, and in there I found two rather legendary Amiga joysticks. So here we have two Zipstik's. They are feeling rather sorry for themselves though. Starting with this one, it's missing all four of its feet. The buttons do work, albeit they're a bit intermediate, and the mechanism is incredibly stiff. Moving on to this one then, it has three of its feet, well, what's left of them anyway. This one is just falling apart, the rubber has melted. The mechanism on this one is really loose. It almost feels as if something is broken in there. It does work, mind, as do the buttons, but again, they're not particularly accurate. They do miss the odd button press. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to tear these two down, give them a bit of a service, and then we can try them out on the Amiga on something like Chaos Engine. So let's start with this one here. This is the one without the feet. I've never taken one of these apart before. Seems to be 5 screws on the bottom of it. And this is the one I said had the very stiff joystick. Okay, so what have we got? Arcade style micro switches for the buttons and for the joystick. So let's see if we can't get this apart any further. Disconnect these two spades here. They do not disconnect. They've all been soldered into place. So this is why I didn't pull on that too hard. At least that's the base free, so we can give it a really good clean. And there's the buttons for the joystick itself out. So all we'll really do with this is to spray a lot of contact cleaner into those buttons, hopefully just to dislodge any dirt or anything that is in there. I actually have some of these style of buttons spare from the arcade stick that we built last year, but the buttons all do work. And when building that arcade stick, any of the ones that I had at the time that were sticky, a little bit of contact cleaner certainly helped them, so that's all we'll do with these. This thing though, this is ridiculously stiff to move. There's hardly any movement in it. So I wonder, is there anything we can do to try and improve that? Let's disassemble this joystick mechanism. So it really all just relies on this spring. That is what keeps everything centered. The question is though, how are we going to take some of the tension off that? Or is that maybe just the way this stick is meant to be? Is it meant to be really tight? I think the fact that there is a wee bit of rust on this isn't helping matters any, and it's causing the stick to get caught on the plastic in there. So I think what I'll do actually is take that other Zipstik apart as well, just to compare the inside of it against this one. So the mechanism for the buttons in the other Zipstik is identical, as you would expect. Even this bit of the stick itself looks the same. This one has obviously been used quite a bit more. An awful lot more rust on the stick. Well, we can sort that out. And a lot more wear on these plastics, albeit they look fine. And there's the spring out of the second one. It's different. There's the spring out of the first Zipstik. There's the spring out of the second one. That's the stiff stick, and that is a really stiff spring. That is the loose stick, and that is quite a soft spring. I really didn't expect to find two different springs inside. I wonder which one is original, or are they both original, and was there an option in Zipstiks in terms of how stiff they were to use? I wouldn't have thought so. You know what I might do? I might just order a few springs of similar dimension. Speaking of which, these are approximately 22 millimeters long and 16 or 17 millimeters in diameter. So I'll order up a couple of springs and we'll just have a bit of a play to see if we can't get something in between these in terms of stiffness. While we're waiting for the new springs to arrive then, I thought we'd just give all this a bit of a clean. Right, that's everything clean, or well, cleaner for now anyway. Next thing I want to do is try and tackle the rust on these sticks. Now, best thing really for this would be like a bit of wire wool, just to buff all that off. Unfortunately, I don't have any to hand right now. So, next best thing, tin foil. Just scrumple it up into a little ball and go to work. And hopefully, as you can see, that is starting to take that off. This is going to take a while though. There you are. That's turning out not too bad, just compared to that one that we were yet to do. Right, I'll do this one here then, and then it's just a waiting game, waiting for the springs to arrive. Then we can put it all back together. Postman's been, and we have our springs. I ordered these from springsandthings.me.uk. Also have an eBay store. These were pretty much the cheapest springs that I could find. I didn't think finding springs of this sort of diameter would be so tricky. But these ones only cost me, I think, about 70 pence each. So definitely well worth giving them a go anyway. Now, first thing that will jump out is that the ends of these are not finished. And by that I mean, you see the way the top of that, the bottom of that is flat. That's what you would call finished. This is just cut out of a bigger coil. So I think what we'll have to do is try and get the pliers out and bend the ends of these down ever so slightly, just so it would sit inside the joystick. But in terms of springiness, how do these feel? Well, I got two stainless springs and two carbon steel springs. These ones are slightly stiffer than the stainless. You can just about feel the difference in them, I think, anyway. Definitely easier to move than the original, just slightly, I would say, slightly easier. The stainless one, that is. What about the carbon steel spring? I would actually say that's pretty much onto what this original stiff spring feels like. Both of them are considerably stronger than this very flimsy spring that came out of the very floppy joystick. Let's just use our old pliers here and try and just bend the end of this down a bit. This carbon steel is a lot stronger than the stainless. This does not want to bend at all. So we've got these two to try. I'm going to put one in each of the joysticks and we can test it out. Okay, that's the stainless steel one in there. And I have to say, that feels pretty good. Not too hard to move. And it's certainly not floppy. What about the carbon steel one? Let's try it in here. The two actually do feel very similar once built. If I'm honest, I think I do prefer the stainless one. It's just ever so slightly softer. But even that other carbon steel one is still a great improvement on this original incredibly stiff spring. So yeah, I think what I'll do is I will remove that carbon steel one and just use this other stainless steel spring in there. I do think that feels the best. So one thing I want to do here, just to help with that metal, is rubbing off the plastic. There's a little bit of lithium grease. I just want to lubricate this pool. Yeah, that feels pretty good. I can put these buttons back in. And again, I just want to put a little spot of lithium grease on that. A little bit, I said. Then we can just put all the innards back together. A little bit of contact cleaner, as I said. Oh yes, one thing I almost forgot. We need to put new feet into the base, don't we? Lithium grease got everywhere. So for new feet, I ordered these. These are meant for like a fish tank, just for holding little accessories onto the glass. But it should work fine for this. Question is though, can I get that through that hole? That's a no. I'll have to trim this down a wee bit. Right, let's try it now. A tight fit, but that's what we want. They will not come out. There we are. That's the 4 of them on. Looking good. And that goes together like that. That is one down. Just feels brilliant. That new spring has definitely made all the difference. Right, I'm going to get the other one together and then we can test them out. So just before we do test these out, one thing just to finish them off nicely. A bit of wax-based furniture polish brings up plastic with a bit of a nice shine. There we are. Looks like new. So I did say we were going to test these with a bit of Chaos Engine. Let's give it a go.
Layers activated.
Joystick feels pretty good. Right, let's change over to the other one. Again, working perfectly. In fact, this joystick maybe feels slightly better than the other one. The stick itself is just slightly more responsive. I don't think that's anything to do with what I've done. I think it's more the wee micro switches.
Special power. Special activated. Exit over level complete.
Well, there we are then. 2 Zipstiks refurbished, ready for another 20 plus years of Amiga gaming action. I'll leave a link in the description below to where you could buy those springs that I got. I think they do make all the difference for the Zipstik. One complaint I see regularly about these sticks is just how stiff they are to use. I would highly recommend swapping out that spring, giving them a bit of a clean, a little bit of lubrication as I did, and yeah, it's a really good micro switched joystick. Well, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would appreciate a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Plenty more content yet to come here on CRG. But until then, I'm gonna go play some more Chaos Engine, and see you next time.